area. So in jail, DC and Baltimore guys don't like each other. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it was a DC guy that I got into it with.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So
During a recent podcast interview, Gervonta "Tank" Davis shared horrifying moments from his time in prison. He also talked about how he managed to stay sane during his time in jail.
just make the best out of that situation. And that was just me working out every day, me, you know what I mean, getting up in the, just working out was definitely that kept me kept me sane while I was
Showbiz the Adult believes Tank will be eager to win his upcoming fight against Frank Martin convincingly. Have a look.
You saw Peter McNeely, right? They threw Peter McNeely at Mike Tyson as the first chopped liver to be given to him.
Tank's absence from the boxing ring has made him hungry, and that was evident during his latest press conference. Stick around and watch as we look at what Tank and the experts have to say about his upcoming fight. Gervonta "Tank" Davis is all set to take on Frank Martin on June 15th. This will be Tank's first fight since his knockout victory over Ryan Garcia last year. Tank also had a bad year as he served a prison sentence. Tank was sentenced to 90 days of home detention at the home of his trainer, Calvin Ford, after pleading guilty in May to 4 counts stemming from a November 2020 crash that injured 4 people, including a pregnant woman. Davis ended up serving 44 days at a detention center after a judge ruled on June 1st that he violated the terms of his house arrest. Davis moved to a luxury hotel and then a new home without permission, which is why he was required to serve prison time. Tank was also unable to train and take part in any fights, thus keeping him out of the boxing ring for over a year. With the June 15th fight against Frank Martin, Tank will be eager to make a winning return and preserve his undefeated record. In a recent podcast interview, Tank talked about his horrifying time during those 44 days he served, including the time when he got jumped on by a fellow inmate. Initially, he expressed his frustration and urgency to leave jail, but had to adapt once he realized he was staying. He maintained discipline through daily workouts to stay focused. During his time in jail, Davis benefited from conversations with older inmates, particularly a man named Dana. They shared valuable advice and helped prevent Davis from getting into altercations, guiding him to stay grounded despite the challenges he faced. Discussing a sparring session where he got jumped, Davis mentioned how he had to force the opponent into the ring. He was caught with a shot but quickly retaliated. Despite rumors suggesting that Davis was hurt, he asserted that he wasn't, emphasizing that he aggressively pursued the opponent, who eventually grabbed onto him defensively. Davis described the opponent as a liar who exaggerated his previous victories. Reflecting on the criticism he faces as a high-profile boxer, Davis remains confident in his adaptability and ability to adjust his style based on his opponent. He noted how the built-up energy from his time in jail drove him to stay motivated and train hard. Tank is eager to show his talent and boxing skills to the world once again, and that was evident during his latest press conference with Frank Martin. During their face-off, Tank unexpectedly smacked Martin. Things could have worsened had the two not been separated.
Once again, things heating up already for this main event in WBA Lightweight Championship of the World. Fighters, take your seats.
The entire press conference was full of drama, with the two fighters taking verbal jabs at one another.
Nobody that's walking with him, holding him hand in hand, is not going to be able to save him June the 15th.
It's just
I'm
me
telling
and
you.
you.
And it's
You
a lot of
surely
shit
right.
built up.
You
It's a
surely
lot
right.
built
It's me
up.
and you.
YouTuber Showbiz the Adult discussed Tank and his performance at the press conference, emphasizing that Davis had an immediate psychological advantage over Martin, noting that Davis's body language and strategic breakdown significantly impacted his opponent's confidence. During the press conference, Davis systematically broke down Martin's mental defenses by calling him out directly and dismissing his experience. Showbiz noted that initially, Martin seemed confident, but Davis's actions quickly diminished that composure. When Martin pointed at Davis, the latter slapped his hand down, asserting his dominance and further shaking Martin's confidence. Davis also accused Martin of being a frontrunner with a weak body, which doesn't handle body shots well. He presented receipts from a previous sparring session with Martin to reinforce his claims. Showbiz mentioned that although it was unclear if Martin fully comprehended what Davis was showing him, it was clear from his expression that he was rattled, almost as if he had seen a ghost. Davis highlighted the significant difference in their boxing backgrounds. He emphasized that while he had been boxing since he was 7, Martin only started at 15, further driving home the point that their skills and experience weren't comparable. Showbiz believes that this remark visibly rattled Martin.
The mental games, the art of war of this press conference, that's about how he goes about his fights. He starts picking and poking and finding first.
Comparing Davis's hunger to that of Mike Tyson after his release from jail, Showbiz indicated that Davis is ready to unleash his pent-up energy on Martin after being out of the ring due to jail time and house arrest. The press conference revealed Davis's intense focus and desire to prove himself, setting the stage for a fierce fight. Martin also shared his side of the story after the press conference. When asked about Davis's demeanor, Martin noted that both fighters' energies were authentic and not scripted. He appreciated that the tension between them felt natural.
You know what I mean? Both our energies was natural. It was real. It wasn't faked or scripted. It was all natural, you know? So I felt it, you know, like the energy was just...
Regarding the sparring session that Davis mentioned during the press conference, Martin clarified that it held little significance compared to their upcoming fight. He acknowledged that Davis had tried to show some sparring footage, but didn't fully display what he promised. Martin emphasized that sparring is just practice, and he doesn't dwell on it because what truly matters is their actual fight. He believes sparring should be taken lightly since any fighter can have a bad day, but the next session can produce completely different results. The friction between Davis and Martin appeared to be palpable at the press conference, but Martin attributes it to their competitive nature and mutual respect. He believes that Davis knows he is up against a real contender and recognizes the dominant alpha traits in both of them. Davis had previously highlighted Martin's perceived weakness in taking body shots, referencing his last fight. However, Martin is confident in his game plan, which he and his team have developed to counter whatever strategies Davis might employ. He welcomed the opportunity for Davis to underestimate him based on his last fight, suggesting that it could play to his advantage. In the interview, Martin projected confidence and determination to demonstrate his skills against Davis. He is focused on ensuring his strategy is effective, particularly with regard to body shots, and wants to ensure that Davis sees him as a credible threat. With this fight, he aims to validate his abilities in the ring and establish himself as a formidable opponent. The boxing world is eagerly anticipating this fight, with many sharing their insights and opinions. Boxing trainer Reggie Lloyd shared his thoughts on this clash. He emphasized that this would be a great matchup and recognized Martin as a true professional who has patiently awaited this opportunity. Should Martin manage to upset Davis and bring him down, Lloyd would credit Martin for being prepared. He expressed his admiration for both Martin and his trainer Derek James, showing respect for their professionalism.
I think Frank Martin is good, but I haven't seen him on the elite level. I mean, you got good fighters and then you got elite fighters. I think Frank Martin is a good fighter. I've never seen him on the elite level.
Lloyd touched on the rumor about Davis intending to move up to 140 pounds. He didn't delve deeply into Tank's relationships with other boxers like Sean Porter or Richardson Hitchens, acknowledging that discussing third-party matters might not be appropriate. He joked about a double-sided coin used to determine potential matchups involving Shakur Stevenson and Tank, but he emphasized that competitive decisions require both transparency and genuine commitment. When asked if he believes a fight between Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia would generate more pay-per-view sales than Tank versus Frank, Lloyd stated that the Haney-Garcia bout could attract more attention. He noted this would demonstrate Haney's strong appeal as a dance partner for any boxer globally. Lloyd was also asked if he had discussed potential fights with Al Haymon, but he clarified that he hadn't directly conversed with him regarding Tank Davis or Devin Haney. Instead, Lloyd usually dealt with executives like Steven Espinoza and Gordon Hall at Showtime. Reflecting on father-son dynamics and partnerships in boxing, Lloyd stressed the importance of faith and standing firm on one's vision. He believes parents must trust the vision they have for their children, and help guide them through the challenging paths of professional sports. According to Lloyd, perseverance and collaboration are key in navigating boxing's competitive environment.
Like, that's like he basically letting everybody know that we're not going to put Tank in any situation where he's not the favorite to win. And I'm not mad at that. That's a business move.
George Mosey also shared his thoughts on this fight and predicted a likely victory for Davis. He recalled a comment made by Floyd Mayweather a few years ago, which suggested that Davis would primarily face in-house fighters where he would be favored to win. Mosey interpreted this as a business strategy designed to protect Davis's winning record and maintain his status. And although he acknowledged the fight is interesting due to Davis's entertaining style, Mosey does not see Martin as a significant threat to Davis. He believes that only fighters like Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, or Teofimo Lopez could pose a substantial challenge to Davis. Despite no disrespect intended towards Martin, Mosey expressed his confidence in Davis, stating that he doesn't expect Davis to lose. In terms of the outcome, Mosey predicted a knockout, emphasizing Davis's track record of consistently finishing fights by stopping opponents. He believes that Davis will approach this bout with a strong mindset and will deliver a decisive result. He noted that discussions about Davis are often hypothetical, given that Davis's matches typically feature opponents who aren't perceived as major threats. However, Mosey is confident that Davis will put on a dominant performance against Martin. The Tank versus Frank Martin fight promises to be an exciting one. But who's going to win this one? What are your predictions? Let us know in the comments. That's it for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the bell for the latest notifications so that you never miss out on videos like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.